Welcome to Venture TV. Welcome, Sebastian, founder and CEO of Klarna. Sebastian, what is your background? That's question number one. And the second question is, what is Klarna? So what is your personal background?
Sure. I am a Polish immigrant kid born in Sweden.
All right.
And I was something as boring as a business school student before I started this together with two of my friends from business school.
Nothing special then, just a regular business school student. But then you founded Klarna, and then it all becomes special because, well, Klarna is pretty big meanwhile. For the people who don't know it, what is Klarna? What are you doing?
Right, so Klarna is a payments company that are offering traditional payment methods such as invoice or bill payments and installment payments, in Germany called Ratenkauf and Rechnung, which
nice,
we do.
That accent.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I practiced my German a lot. And we offer these to merchants so they can offer it to them end customers, increase their sales, which is the most important driver, by offering safer and more convenient payment methods, and it helps them grow their business. And we're taking all the risk and all the hassle and all the work with it. So that's pretty much the summary of it, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
How big are you meanwhile?
Well, it's the definition of big. We are around 700 employees. We are, transaction-wise, we handled about 1 billion euros last year. But I think what maybe gives the most something to compare is that if you look to the Swedish market, which is our home market where we started, we do about every fourth purchase online is handled through Klarna. So about 25% of all online commerce is paid through Klarna. So that's of course, a very nice position, and now we would like to be able to try to achieve something similar in other markets.
All right. So how did you get this big? Because that's quite an impressive number. What did you do? What do you think were the initial things that you had to do to become so big?
There's one simple answer to that: a lot of hours.
Really?
So I think.
And a lot of money.
No, not that. We actually bootstrapped the company from the beginning.
Right.
So we've been profitable since about first 6 months. We started becoming profitable. We've been taking on investors, but a lot of it has also been previous investors exiting to new investors. So actually, the company has much of it has grown on its own money, but hard work definitely, and of course a lot of portion of luck. We've had a good timing to the market, and I've been fortunate not to been hit by bigger problems than we'll be able to manage. So I think combination of luck and hard work.
And you've not been hit by bigger competitors? Because, I don't know, you're probably not the only ones on the market.
Right. So actually when we started in Sweden, there were a few competitors. And now in all the markets like Germany, etc., there are a couple of ones. But we've been fortunate enough that our competitors haven't been as focused or as strong as they would have had in order to, so it's worked pretty well.
What about guys like PayPal and stuff?
Right. So I think of course they're a very interesting company, but first of all, it's a brand that everybody knows, but few that I know use, and second of all, it is a company that at least to me, I haven't seen much innovative stuff coming for quite a while. So I think that it's a good company, it's a fantastic company, they've done a fantastic story, but I think there's definitely room for more companies in the scene.
So the special thing that sets you apart from other companies are these features Rechnung and Ratenzahlung?
Right. Well, I think that is, if you look at how a customer buying online would see us, then the answer is yes. But if you look at what we're trying really to do is two very simple things. First of all, we're trying to make it safer to buy online. Okay. And as soon as you go and click you want to buy something, if you pay and then you get the goods, you're in a risky situation because you don't know what you're actually going to get or if it's what I wanted, etc. So if you can give people the opportunity to actually get the goods at home first, touch them, feel them, this is what I wanted, and then pay for them, it just makes a lot of more sense for the consumers. Okay. So safety by offering after delivery payments is very important. And second of all is simplicity. If you can reduce friction, if you can make it just one click to buy something, then that is also something that people enjoy. However, if you look at the tech scene, a lot of people in the tech scene are like, what's the next mobile thing? What's the next one? And all that is, of course, very exciting, but what we're really trying to do is things that work for the everyday internet user. And they like the safety thing, they like the simplicity, it's very basic, but it helps the merchants grow their business. And that's what's important. We see merchants that grow their business by 20-25% when they install our payment methods. And that's something that will continue to grow their business forever, while you spend some money on advertising and you will get a little bit of an increase and then you'll come back to where you were before. So that's really what it is about. It's maybe not as sexy as mobile stuff or whatever, but it's extremely efficient. It works and it helps people grow their business.
All right. So talking about security, how much do you take for offering this security? What is the commission that you take?
Sure. So in order for this to work, of course, we need to be competitive with other payment methods. So usually we're about the same price as offering credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, or PayPal, or other payment solutions. So it's about the same prices.
And then looking into the future, you are a service that clings onto online shops that don't have their own payment methods. But when you look into the future, my prediction is that there will be a lot of small online shops that won't exist in 5 or 10 years from now. Right now, you're catering to them, but what's going on in 10 years when e-commerce is just distributed among a few players, only a few players on the market?
That's an interesting, yeah. No, first of all, we cater to all types of sizes. So we have everything from the very small ones. We have merchants that do 500 million euros up to 1 billion euros.
Big ones might not need you anymore because they're so big and well known that this security thing is not the issue anymore.
Well, that's kind of interesting that you say that, because that was what we thought as well. But if you look at least in Sweden, we actually seen that the bigger merchants, they have a bigger proportion using Klarna over other payment methods. Okay. And I think it's maybe because the even bigger merchants attract a crowd that is even more traditional and even more, because if I go to one of the big sites, then I feel trustworthy, but to the smaller ones I have less trust. So actually we expected that, but that's also only the safety, and then you forget about the simplicity, which is extremely important. If you can offer people to simply just click and not add their credit card numbers, not do all of that kind of stuff every time and change these numbers, etc., then you're also adding a lot of value to these. So actually, proportion-wise, the bigger merchants are more successful with Klarna sometimes than the smaller ones.
Okay.
But then also the question is, how will the industry evolve? And I think we definitely will see fewer cases where somebody starts a small merchant and suddenly becomes a huge e-commerce site, because that was large in the beginning. But just as we have here regular stores, we have chains that are big and we have smaller stores that are, independent. I think the same is going to be true for online.
Okay.
So I think we'll see both.
Okay.
Future.
How many countries are you in, meanwhile?
So it depends. We're 6 countries where we offer the business, offer the service. And then apart from that, we have a 7th country, Israel, where we just have engineering, research and development type of activities.
And you've raised, was it $120 million?
It was, according to press, it was $155 million.
See, and according to you, how much is it?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just quoting
saying the same with
press.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're okay with that number?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay,
number,
so
yes.
What do you do with the money?
Well, part of it, of course, was a secondary piece where previous institutional investors wanted to sell a piece. But the rest is just, we're seeing fantastic growth in Germany and Netherlands, which are new markets. We're planning to go to new European markets and maybe beyond as well. So most of it is just invested in markets to be able to help us grow even further.
USA?
You don't know, maybe.
You don't know? All right.
You never know.
All right, so what do you think, where will Klarna be in 10 years from now?
Well, that's a good question. I know that we are an extremely ambitious company, that we believe in kind of reaching for the stars to get to the moon kind of stuff. And so definitely our ambition is to become a global important player in the payment space. And then, how big that is going to be or how it's going to be, well, just future will tell, right? But ambitions are very high anyway.
Whoever will buy you before you get really big, whatever.
Right. Well, we will prefer to be independent.
Okay.
We have never had an exit strategy for the company.
That's what you say when you want to be bought.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, actually. So I can agree that I hear that sometimes.
But then whatever comes, you will probably take it.
Well, I think it's hard to. I think to some degree, as long as you see a potential and you believe you can become that big company, you're going to want to stick around to it.
True.
And then when you as a founder see that maybe, the train's left or I won't make it, then maybe, you maybe it makes more sense to team up with somebody else. Yeah. But I don't know, and I think, Klarna is definitely still having the sight on becoming that dominant player.
Most important question in the end, what means Klarna? Is there any meaning behind it? Because Germans, maybe we know not klar, but it's probably not that easy.
Yeah, well, actually, we changed names just 3 years ago. We had another name before that, and the reason we changed was we wanted something that worked internationally, and we wanted it to have some kind of Nordic or Swedish tone to it. But we actually, when we did the whole naming process, we came up with another name, and then we launched it in the company. We were supposed to be named Movondo. Which we thought was a great idea, and everybody in the company just hated it. So we had to go back and say, sorry guys, we'll come back with something better. And then Klarna was like second or third choice. We were like, well, maybe Klarna will actually work quite nice. And it does tone well with the fact that we want to offer simplicity, and klar in German, is simple or clear, and you have clarité in French, you have clear in English, etc. So there is a kind of an idea that it connects to what we want to be offering, which is simpler and safer and more fun payment methods. And a lot of payments companies talk about simpler and safer, but very few have executed on it really well, and we think that we are one better than most of the others in that case.
All right, and now because I said it was the last question about the name, but I have another one.
All right.
Because it's not very often that companies raise so much money. So what do you think? What are the secrets to raising that much money that you did?
Well, hopefully, first of all, I think I think that you. If you raise that much money, I hope it's because you need it. So I think the first reason should be that you need the money.
Then convincing the people is
right. Well, and I think it's a good question. I think that one probably. I think in the end you can just do so much in selling smart and hyping the company or whatever it is. I think in the end though, it's always going to come back to the fundamentals and that people will look at the company and say, okay, what can this really become the next Google or the next Facebook or whatever it is, and does it has that potential? And then if it does, and you can convince people that it does, then you can kind of continue to raise more money and kind of pursue that dream.
Including a lot of networking. Did you have like people who did the introductions for you, or did you do it all by yourself?
Actually, two things apart. I did all of the work with the raising myself, right or wrong. There are good things and bad things with that.
Not bad,
but the networking. No, I've been introduced to some people by other people. I've had people reach out, being interested in the company, etc. But I think Klarna is a very different business in a sense, and it's not like a simple product that you just can explain over 30 seconds. But it does work, and it's very efficient. So I think that we've been able to find investors that really want to put in the time and effort and understand the business, and when they do and they really dig into it, then they see great potential, and that I'm happy to see that. So.
Good. So that was it. No more questions, and thanks a lot for the interview.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck to you.